Alright guys, I just got my RFC, which is like a social security number in the US. Fortunately, I had an appointment. I got in and out in 30 minutes. So today's video is about how I got that in Mexico. Hi, and welcome aboard. We are Captain Pat, First Mate Alexa, and Chief Napping Operator Gilligan the Fat Boat Cat. We've lived aboard boats in Mexico for about 7 years and are currently floating near Puerto Vallarta in our 57-foot Nordhaven Noeta. We wanted to share today's short video for those who are boating or living in Mexico for extended periods of time. Hopefully, some of you find it useful. A lot of boaters boat in Mexico. Some of you even become residents. Once you become a resident, you may also want to get an RFC so that you can get a bank account, buy a car, buy property, do some other things. I just finished doing that, and so today I'm going to show you how I did that. Remember, things could always change in Mexico, but here's how it worked for me. Okay, today's video is a little different. I'm putting this video out to help some other boater friends, but also I suppose it could be for anyone in Mexico facing the challenge of needing to get an RFC. So this is my experience from today when I went in to go get an RFC. An RFC is like a social security number in the US. The government, Mexican government, is starting to crack down a little bit on trying to track money, deal with money laundering issues. And an RFC would be something you would need to open a bank account, to buy a car, to buy property, to have a job. So anything that involves an exchange of money, you would need an RFC. Historically, some of us have gotten away with getting cars and doing things without that. I think by my understanding, some RFC numbers were fudged through car dealerships, but they can't do that anymore. So decided it was about time. As a permanent resident, we've been in Mexico cruising for 7 years. We have probably 3 more years. We'll be cruising around Mexico before we leave. So I figured it was time to get my RFC. So I wanted to give folks the layout of how I did it today. Again, Mexico does change things, so always confirm for yourself. But as of mid-August 2025, this is what I needed. So the first thing you're going to need to do is go online and make an appointment. I will put that link in the description. But for me, I could make an appointment next day. It was no big deal. Definitely show up about 20 minutes before your appointment, depending on where in Mexico you're taking it. For me this morning, I showed up early and they let me in early, which was crazy for Mexico. But first off, you'll need to prepare some things. So you're going to make your appointment. It is a website that you can translate into English if you need to. Here are the things you want to gather with you to take. Take your passport just in case. I was told to take mine, however, I did not need it. So never hurts to have it with you. Definitely take your green residency card, whether temporary or permanent, you do need that. You will also need actually a printout of your CURP, and a printout of your CURP can be found at a link I will put in the description. So it's just a simple, it's on the immigration website. You put in your CURP number and your first, middle, and last name, and it comes up with your actual CURP with your picture, and print that out. You have to take that with you. You also need to take proof of residency where you live, which for those of us on a boat is a little more complicated. So what worked for me is our marina, I asked them to print me out their CFE bill, which is their power bill. And in addition, I also got a letter from Paradise Village Marina that says that I do stay at this marina. They did need to put the name of my boat, the actual slip number my boat is at, and it had to have a signature and say that we are living at this marina. They don't say for how long or anything. And then it was signed, and it also has the marina address. The power bill has the marina address. Now my residency card does match this marina. I don't know if yours, you'd have to confirm if your residency address is not your current marina. You may need something that matches address wise. So confirm on that. You also need to bring a thumb drive. This is where they're gonna, at the end of it, they're gonna put your RFC on here. They're gonna ask you to write down a password that they're gonna password protect a file on here. But then they also print out your RFC for you when you leave. So, but they insist on having a thumb drive. So have one of those. So those are the 5 things you're gonna need with you. I will say I had the CFE bill from the marina, and it was just printed one side. And when I got there, they said, well, where's the back? And I said, I don't have it. And so they actually reprinted it with a different back that doesn't belong to the marina. So they wanted to make it happen for me. They were trying to help me out, I think. Everything has to be printed, no digital anything. I did make a mistake at my first appointment not having one of these documents printed, and I had to make an appointment for the next day and come back. So basically how it works in Puerto Vallarta, if you have an appointment, you go to the SAT office, which is over by the Costco. You get in a special line just for people that have appointments, and then they move that line. Say everyone that has 9 o'clock and 9:10 appointments come over here, and then they call your name. The first gentleman outside the door will check to see if you have everything you need. If you do, he'll send you inside to the next line where she starts entering everything into the computer. She then sends you to another space to go sit and wait while, for me, it was maybe 7-8 minutes. It wasn't very long. It was really quite organized this morning. And then you go sit and wait, and your number, you'll be given a number. Your number will get called, then you'll go sit at a desk with somebody else who will ask you some questions. So she was pretty entertained by the fact that I live on a boat, but she wanted to know how many bedrooms, what color it was, things they might have asked about a house, I guess. And so we made it work. The name of the house, she wanted to put the boat name, Noeta, on there. And then she asked some other random questions just because she was curious and I think sort of intrigued. She did a lot of paperwork, a lot of photocopies. I signed a number of documents, probably 10, 12 times. You have to sign it just how it is on your residency card. It has to match. And then when she was done with all that, she had me go over to another room where they took my picture, they scanned all 10 fingerprints, and they scanned my retinas, my eyes. And then I signed a few more things, and he put the thumb drive in his computer, put something on it, gave it, plus a bunch of photocopies of things, a printout of my RFC number, and said, okay, you're done. And that was it. Took about 30 minutes, which is really impressive for Mexico bureaucracy. And this, there are different levels of RFC. She explained this one would be a basic one for the, banks and purchasing things and not like running a business or anything. So that was my experience today. Again, it can always change, so be prepared for that. I'm happy to answer questions. If you have questions that I can help you with, definitely ask me in the comments. I will say I do speak some Spanish, so that definitely helped. I think if you had everything prepared and you took your phone in as a translator, I still think you would be okay. I think between their limited English and any kind of limited Spanish you could do, I think you could still do it by yourself. I know people definitely pay handlers to go with them to these kind of things. I feel like Pat, my husband, could have done it without me had I explained to him how to do it. So he's next on the list. We'll go do his now that I know how to do mine. Good luck if you go try to do it. If something is different in your area, again, this was in Puerto Vallarta. Each Mexican office could be a little bit different, but this does also match what they said on their website and what I have found in my in research from other places. So hopefully that helps. Hope you guys have a great day. We'll get back to boat projects on our next video, but don't forget, like and subscribe, and share this with anybody that might need it, who's heading into Mexico, living in Mexico, and might need a tax ID number. Have a great day, guys.